What's up everyone, and welcome back to the MMA field. Today let's get started with Kamaru Usman explains why he disapproves of Jorge Masvidal's attack on Colby Covington. UFC welterweight champion Kamaru Usman has explained why he didn't approve of Jorge Masvidal attacking Colby Covington. While it may have been Colby Covington who got his hand raised at UFC 272, Jorge Masvidal quite clearly felt like there was some unfinished business after their Las Vegas showdown. A few weeks following the fight, Masvidal allegedly assaulted Covington in a Miami steakhouse and is now facing charges as a result of what went down. A lot of fans were split regarding the morality of what happened, but Kamaru Usman, who is 4-0 over both men inside the octagon, had a pretty straightforward view about it all. "I was a little disappointed in that," Usman said. "I expressed that disappointment on Twitter. I was disappointed in what they did, but at the end of the day, that's how life goes. If you say certain things that push certain buttons, certain guys react a certain way, and we saw the result of that. I don't think anyone had a justification to do that," Usman said. "If two guys in the media room started fighting, there's no justification for that. As a man, you should be able to use your words, as your parents would say. But if you can't sign a contract for the UFC, step in the cage and handle business." The biggest problem for Jorge Masvidal here is that it comes across as a petty move for him to go after Colby in this manner. Yes, you could argue it builds the interest for a rematch, but it also leaves him in a pretty vulnerable position with regards to the law. Moving forward, it'll be interesting to see how this case continues to develop for both men.
You just mentioned Jorge and Colby there. I'm curious what you think about their little...
No, I was a little disappointed in that. I expressed my disappointment via Twitter. I was disappointed in what they did, but at the end of the day, that's how life goes. You say certain things that push certain buttons, certain guys react a certain way, and we saw the result of that.
Do you think, it's hard to make you answer this question, but I'm curious, as a fighter, do you sort of get it? Do you think Jorge has some justification in doing that? Like, he couldn't get it done in the cage, but he still has an issue with the guy. He wants to make the guy pay for some comments.
I don't think anyone had his justification to do that. It's like, it's two guys in here right now started fighting. There's no justification for that. As a man, you should be able to, use your words, as your parents would say. But if you can't, sign contracts in the UFC, step in the cage, and handle business.
Second story: Michael Bisping explains why Charles Oliveira is a matchup that might favor Conor McGregor. Michael Bisping is weighing in on why he thinks Charles Oliveira is a good matchup for Conor McGregor. According to Bisping, he does not believe Conor McGregor deserves a title fight, but admits Charles Oliveira could be a favorable matchup. Charles Oliveira, 33-8, is just coming off a victory over Justin Gaethje, 23-4, at UFC 274 this past Saturday night. While a win is a win, and this indeed was Oliveira's 11th win in a row, it was overshadowed by the fact that he didn't make weight prior to the fight and was stripped of his lightweight belt. Conor McGregor is looking to return to the octagon this fall, but to date no opponent has been named. McGregor, 22-6, last fought in July of 2021 at UFC 264, where he went down to defeat against Dustin, 28-7. It was a tribology matchup which saw Dustin win by TKO after McGregor injured his leg in round 1. In speaking on an episode of the Believe You Me podcast, Michael Bisping, the former UFC middleweight champion, explained that while Conor McGregor's star status alone may be enough to secure a title bout, he doesn't believe he has earned one, saying, "For McGregor, does he deserve a title fight? No, he doesn't. But he's the biggest star in the sport, and sometimes that just sways in. And I wouldn't be angry if he got it. Charles would welcome it. That would be a massive fight, an absolute blockbuster." Bisping continued, believing a McGregor-Oliveira matchup could work out best for the Irishman, because Do Bronx has frequently dropped during recent fights, saying, "I've said this before, Charles does get hit. Out of all the matchups that might favor Conor the most, simply because Charles gets hit. And everyone knows I'm not kissing McGregor's ass. I'm far from being a fanboy of McGregor." Do you agree with Michael Bisping that a McGregor versus Oliveira fight would be an absolute blockbuster and is the one to make? Or who do you believe would be the best opponent to meet McGregor in the cage upon his return?
McGregor's out there, and for McGregor, does he deserve the title fight? No, he doesn't. But he's the biggest star in the sport, and sometimes that just sways it. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't be angry if he got it. Charles would welcome it. That would be a massive fight, absolute blockbuster. and I've said this before, Charles does get hit. Yeah, out of all the matchups, that might favour Conor the most, simply because Charles, and everyone knows I'm not kissing McGregor's ass. I am far from being a fanboy of McGregor. Everyone knows this, you know what I mean? We don't have a relationship, but he can still fucking crack. Problem is, can he make 155? Because right now, I don't think he's making 155 anytime soon, or even fucking 85. Look at the size of him. I saw a lot of people saying that they think he's on the juice. What do you reckon? Do you reckon old McGregor's juicing up there?
I think he's on, orange juice, papaya juice, any juice he can get his hands on. McGregor's a pothead now, so I just think he's just imbibing, just sweet things.
Yeah, maybe. Or maybe he's out the USADA testing pool and he's fucking recovering. You know what I mean?
How does that work? If you are injured, do you still have USADA coming by your house, or are you just exempt from testing until you're back clear?
Well, you could say take me out the testing pool because I've just snapped my fucking leg and I'm not going to be back anytime soon. You know what I mean? And by the way, I just saw people talking about this online and got me thinking, because I was like, no, don't be stupid. And then someone was like, yeah, he'll be out the testing pool. And I thought, oh, anyway, I'm not saying that that's the case.